Round 7 of the GT Championship. As at Le Mans earlier this year, the rain was a constant feature of this endurance race. It was the first time that the Spa 24 Hours had been included in the GT Championship, and double points were to be awarded because of the endurance factor. The race considerably longer than the usual 3 hours. Let's take a look at the championship positions going into this race. Bouchou and Belloc had won for Labre in the Czech Republic, Britain and Belgium. Campbell-Walter and Coronel were first in Italy and France, and the Hungarian winners were Hesselmans and Beckmolen. The NGT, David Terrien and Christian Pescatori have won 3 times in this class in France, Britain and Hungary. But Luca Riccatelli's been very consistent. Well, the Lister cars wouldn't run here because they'd insufficient budget for a 24-hour race. Rain disrupted the qualifying, and generally the best times were set during the first nighttime practice. Car Sport Holland on pole, 1.2 seconds quicker than the rest of the field. Team Raffinelli didn't even run in the day session. Championship leaders Bouchou and Belloc down in 11th place. Well, it all started quite quietly. Hesselmans pulling away from pole and building up a comfortable lead on a dry track. He was followed by Raffinelli Ferrari, 550, Emanuele Nespetti at the wheel, Sebastian Bleckmolen in the number 4 Car Sport Viper, and Christophe Bouchou, having risen rapidly up the field from 11th on the grid, is into 3rd place. Paul Belmondo Viper, Boris de Richebourg dropped back in the early stages, gearbox trouble. Better news for one of the other Belmondo cars, Vossa taking the lead, but most of the leaders pitted to change tyres during a shower just 45 minutes into the race. Short safety car period after an hour. This is when the Lamborghini Diablo hit the barriers, which bunched up the rest of the field. The rain ceased, track began to dry, cars began pitting for slicks once more, and Vossa remained in the overall lead, but the weather problems and pit stops had given an advantage to some of the NGT cars. Riccatelli in the number 77 Porsche moved up the field. But it was Stefan Ortelli in the 57 Freisinger Porsche 996 who stayed out on slick tyres and rode up to amazing second overall, with Javier Pompidou in the number 58 Freisinger Porsche just behind him in 3rd. Spectacular crash, lap 78. Jean-Michel Martin just taken over the number 4 Car Sport. Spun off the track, came to rest alongside the barriers, then he was hit by the spinning number 10 Belmondo Racing Viper, which bounced off and went back onto the track. Safety car came out again. Yves Gosselin driving the Belmondo car. Well, the number 3 Car Sport Viper was leading, but then needed a pit stop of 6:55 to change the crack's exhaust, and that dropped the car back by over 2 laps. The number 5 Ferrari also pitted. The number 7 Labre Chero Chrysler Viper, which had continued its gradual rise up the field, took the lead of the race shortly before 9 o'clock. First time the championship leader had been at command at Spa over the weekend. So into the night, and Porsche's in trouble, as on lap 140 the race took a dramatic turn. The retirement of the number 58 Freisinger Porsche, driven at the time by Tim Verburgt, following a collision with the number 94 Porsche. The car had a wheel torn off. So another safety car intervention. 4 laps, oil all over the track at this stage. The number 3 Car Sport Viper made another unscheduled pit stop for a second repair to the exhaust. This lost them 4 positions. Then, of course, the number 5 Ferrari went out. Engine problems, the possible cause. We haven't seen anything yet. One of these days we'll be really strong. And that wasn't the only Ferrari to have problems in the night. The NGT Championship leading Ferrari 360 Modena, which had been keeping a steady race pace, was in 4th position in its class when Andrea Garbonatti put it into the gravel. car came back to the pits, smoking a bit, shortly before midnight, and was pushed into the garage.
Je suis sorti au-dessus du raidillon, la voiture est partie de l'arrière.
So they got a problem with the alternator belt, and changing that alternator belt will take some 26 minutes, 39 seconds.
J'ai fait 2 têtes à queue après, je me suis arrêté sur la piste de l'autre côté, côté gauche. J'ai pu repartir pour la ramener ici, mais la voiture est en état parce qu'elle n'a plus d'aileron, l'aileron arrière est arraché, tout l'avant droit est arraché, il n'y a plus de portière, il n'y a plus rien.
Problems for the Paul Belmondo Vipers, the number 12 car losing time in the pits to repair the clips on the engine cover. That dropped from 3rd to 8th. The same car came back 20 minutes later, having lost the front left wheel, and then later got a stop-and-go penalty, believe it or not, for not stopping at a red light after missing the bus stop chicane. Number 10 Viper also had a lengthy stop to change the front left wheel, and that rejoined in 15th position. Wheels and tyres major factors in this race. The leading Chrysler Viper, driven by Bouchou, that came into the pits on 3 wheels. Margin on the 17 car of Bourdais had been reduced from 2 laps to 1:15 by this stage. So morning, but still about 9 hours to go at Spa. The rain came back, heavy shower. That brought some cars in for intermediates. Belloc in the leading number 7 Labra Viper stayed out on slicks. Just before the rain, the number 3 Chrysler Viper, Hesselmans at the wheel, just set a new fastest lap, 2:23.001. The next shower started. Jerome Blake-Molen in the Car Sport Viper staying out on slicks again, whereas the Labra car made a stop for intermediates. Track grew wetter. Blake-Molen losing around 10 seconds a lap, giving the number 7 Chrysler Viper the advantage once more. Tyre choices had to be right, and once they were made, they had to be completed quickly. F3000 race winner Sébastien Bourdais sharing number 17 with Goulard and Dumais, setting the pace on a damp track. Fourth place was the all-Belgian Silver Racing Chrysler Viper, putting in their best performance so far in the FIA GT Championship, although they also had a stop and go. 17 hours down, 7 to go. Riccatelli, the number 77 car, 6-lap lead over the 57 Freisinger Porsche. That had problems with a broken radiator. This, of course, the NGT class. Freisinger car in turn was being chased by the Perspective Racing number 55 Porsche. Overall, the number 3 and number 7 Chrysler Vipers are on similar strategies at this point, but pitting at the same time, and the gap between them was remaining relatively constant. So although the race is in its final stages, it was still the equivalent of a normal round of the FIA GT Championship to run. Everything changed when a cloudburst brought the safety car out again. The number 3 Car Sport Viper closed in a few seconds of the leading Labra Viper. Jerome Blake-Molen here, having stalled his car, had to get a battery from a team member, and he picked up a $1,000 fine for receiving outside assistance and a retirement as well. So with the Car Sport Viper retiring, the first running of the 24 hours of Spa as part of the FIA GT Championship saw an amazing double for Labra Competition Chirot. Their 2 Chrysler Vipers finishing 1st and 2nd. A fantastic result for the Belgian-entered Silver Racing Chrysler Viper. Bouchou, Belloc and Duez in the number 7 Viper completed 522 laps in the 24 hours, finishing 5 laps ahead of the number 17 car of Bourdais, Dumais and Goulard. Robert Dirick, Eric de Donker and Vincent Dupont to their best ever result in the championship with 3rd. Positions at the top of the NGT, well, that remained pretty much the same, with the RWS Porsche 996 having a 3-lap lead over the Freisinger Porsche at the finish. 25 cars running at the end out of 32 starters. Tremendous reliability. So with double points in the event, Bouchou and Belloc claimed the Provisional Drivers' Championship. That's the way they stand. 68 points apiece. Duez, of course, in their car as well, having picked up 20 at Spa. Nobody else now capable of catching them. Labre out in front in the teams category, but a close battle there between second, third, fourth and fifth. These are the NGT drivers standing. Much closer title race. Riccitelli, the favourite. Terrien Pescatori needed something at Spa and didn't get it. The manufacturer's straightforward fight between the German and the French team. So that's it from Spa. Join us for rallying next.